I do have a problem. I'm able to sit here because there are enough chairs open, not filled with donors. So I'm going to go ahead and stand up because I got to believe we're about to have some donors come through that door. That way someone can sit down right here. It doesn't take a construction expert to see that Thompson Pool, built way back in 1931, isn't in great shape. Even from just the outside of the building, you can see the deterioration where they've had to board up the walls and make repairs. And over here, there's a hole in the wall where you can actually see underneath the pool, and that's where the real damage is that makes this place beyond saving. Wells Fargo has agreed to pay $575 million today to settle a slew of lawsuits against the company. There was no way I was going to spend 24 hours at a fire station and not go down the pole. Woo. There we go. All trained up. Now I'm ready to go next time we have a call. By my count, 14 straight people then stepped up to the mic and addressed the school board regarding the Coach Clements situation. But they do so much more. Like, take this story, for example. I shot it entirely on my cell phone. Hold on a second. Hello? Yeah, this is Chase Horn, KMR, Local 4 News. Everyone on this list is in the United States legally through a green card or work visa. The state just has their voter registration information because they at one point in time applied for a driver's license. There's maintenance that comes with it. Check out some of these branches down here. You can see how they're dried out a little bit, and if you're not watering your tree properly, that's when you can get yourself into trouble. For the lighting of the Amarillo City Christmas tree, but hey, I'm sure by now you're tired of looking at my face, so I'm going to step out of the way, let you see some of these really cool floats heading by. What a card skimmer does is as you insert the credit card into the machine, it stores your information while still allowing you to pay what you owe for the gas. 7:30 a.m. The 24-hour shift for B shift at Amarillo Central Fire Station officially begins.
I've been on 29 and a half years. Got on when I was 25 years old. And my daughter's first birthday was my first day at work.
Every shift makes a grocery store run every day. A slow morning means an uninterrupted trip, but that's not always the case.
If we can get through a grocery run without getting a call, I like it. But sometimes we try to, sometimes it happens we go to the grocery store like 3 or 4 times.
Still no call, so time to prepare lunch and drill the rookie. At least that was the plan. 10:54 a.m. The first call during the shift comes in.
We got on scene. We found one vehicle, unconscious male patient. We started CPR, got him in the ambulance, and transported him. I'm not sure what exactly happened.
Back to the station for lunch, but a firefighter can never rest easy. Okay, this is our second call of the day. It's another medical. There was a female in her mid-40s having chest pains. Just called us. We were the first ones here. Firefighter crew in there right now checking on her. This one is a wreck. Car versus semi-truck. Fortunately, it looks worse than it is. No major injuries. We're about 8.5 hours into the shift. This is our 4th call. It's also our first fire call. You can see all the smoke coming out of the roof there. About time to step out of the way and let the firefighters do their job.
It was all contained right here. Kept it from going into attic space.
We're now up to 4 calls. That's actually a pretty light day. Still though, it's time for a well-deserved dinner break for B shift.
We just got back from a medical call, Salvation Army. It's one of our more common stops. We have a large homeless population that stay there during the cold.
It's now 10 p.m. Things are starting to wind down. Sirens go off just 1 hour after I went to sleep. The crew for Ladder 1 was loaded up and gone before I made it down the stairs. I got another chance a few hours later, a call for a wreck, although after driving around the area, we didn't find anything. By 7 in the morning, the next crew is already in-house. going over equipment, and getting ready for the day. 7:30 a.m. The next shift officially starts. I found it near the gas pumps at the United in Canyon, right across the street from West Texas A&M. A piece of technology you would never expect to find near campus unless it was in the Panhandle Plains Historic Museum. A payphone.
I went out and tested it the other day when you first contacted me about it, and honestly, I didn't even know how much money to take out there. So I took 4 quarters just to be safe, and it was 50 cents to call, and it did work.
Yes, the phone works, but the 50-cent question is, do people still know how to use a payphone? Only one way to find out. Excuse me, I have a random question for you. Have you ever used a payphone before?
No.
If I gave you 50 cents, do you think you could go over to that payphone and call someone?
Probably not. I guess you gotta read.
Are you reading directions?
Yeah.
It says deposit 50 cents for 15 minutes. It's ringing.
Is it ringing?
Yeah.
So it's a success.
I've seen it like in movies, but I've never done that, like actually done it before.
It's crazy to think payphones used to be a staple of our everyday lives, but now just about everyone has a phone in their pocket. They can not only make calls, but they do so much more. Like, take this story for example. I shot it entirely on my cell phone. Hold on a second. Hello? Yeah, this is Chase Horn, KMR, Local 4 News.
Now that Tom's body has been found, the question becomes, what happens next? KAMR Local 4's Chase Horn spoke with Klein Investigations and Consulting to find out the next steps in this investigation.
The people of Canadian still processing that the remains of Thomas Brown's body were found here on Lake Marvin Road just east of town. But finding his body is not the end of his story. It's really just the beginning of a more than 2-year investigation, because we still have more questions than answers when it comes to what actually happened to Thomas Brown. Klein Investigation and Consulting joined the search for Tom 1 week after his disappearance. Now that his body has been found, Philip Klein of Klein Investigation and Consulting says the next step is exactly what he thought it would be, his first day on the case.
I have said since day one when I first saw the car, and my team has said since day one, there's not one person on the team argumentatively that will dissent that this is a homicide investigation. It's always been a homicide investigation. Something happened to that boy.
Now, we did reach out to the Hemphill County Sheriff's Office because that's who was notified when Thomas Brown's remains were found, but they said they would not comment because it's not their investigation. That would be the Texas Attorney General's office. We reached out to them for comment, and they said they could not comment because it's an ongoing investigation. In Canadian, Chase Horn, KMR, Local 4 News.
Chase, thank you. The family has not asked Klein Investigations to participate in the homicide investigation, but Philip Klein says they will assist if they're asked.
The calm of the water, cut by competition. It liberates Gabe Marsh.
Yeah, I feel free. I can do anything I wanted to.
He can do everything that anyone else can do.
Anything. As far back as Gabe can remember, he's loved the water, and he was fearless, even when fear made sense.
When I first got in, my mom had to get me up because I was drowning, because I didn't know how to swim the first time I got in the water. So she took me to swim practice when I was like 5.
Now 14 years old, he lives in Gunnersville, but competes for the Scottsboro club team.
He's a good kid. He always works hard. When he's here, he's always smiling, having a good time. All of his teammates really like him a lot.
Just the way he is, the way he was born.
When he started coming, his mom was like, hey, he has no disabilities.
It's easy to look at Gabe and ask how he's able to swim, but what you should be asking is how fast he swims, because the kid's good. His times are so good, in fact, Gabe has his eyes set on the 2020 Paralympic Games in Tokyo.
When I first watched it, I saw the Paralympics where like everybody who looks like me tried their best and get medals. That's one thing I really want, get a big medal. When I beat someone, That's what gets me pumped up.
It's that drive and determination to win at everything he does that has him knocking on the door of the Paralympics. It also inspires everyone around him, his coaches, his teammates. Even the Auburn swim coach couldn't help but take notice when he saw Gabe at a recent meet. Coach Brett Hawk came over, talked to you a little bit, gave you a cap and a shirt. How cool was that?
It was pretty cool. The first time he came over there, I didn't know who he was. Until my mom told him he was like the Auburn coach. He said, you're very inspirational if you get faster.
If he does, his dreams could come true, and Gabe would get to represent his country at the 2020 Games in Tokyo.
I just want to push myself and show everybody I can do anything.
Anything. Chase Horn, WHNT News 19 Sports.